Dirty Sports Podcast. I said, welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast with Andy Ruther and Joe Prano. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Port Hueneme, California, Joey No Chill Prano.
Hello, Andy.
Good morning.
The glowing, spinning, and then disappearing DJ Sizzle in the bottom left corner gets me every time. It's like he's like winking and then leaving.
It's a great addition.
Yeah.
It's definitely a great addition to the show.
How's the Friday there in Ohio? What's your weather like? You still raining? The whole city underwater? Cold?
Let's see here. Today's cold. Today's real cold. Not real cold, but like we're back down in low 40s. Yesterday was like mid 60s. Again, I've brought up before. Cat Williams has this like really, really old, I think his first ever special he filmed here in Cincinnati. And he talks about, he's got a great bit about like how you prepare for the weather in Cincinnati. He's like, you got an umbrella, you got to have your snow boots, he's just going over your swim trunks, like you don't know what's it's gonna be, but yeah, it's the thing is it messes with the sinuses.
Interesting.
Right? Doesn't it? Like for you, like if that's how I've always been. If it's warm, cold, rainy, like it'll mess with my nasal.
No, it's never happened to me. It's weird.
Not if like
for you or if it's weird for me, but
not if like the body is like going through that day to day.
No.
Okay. Maybe it is just me and my kids. That's they got the same shit. It's like, oh, okay, cool. But no, it's good, man. I mean, we're already. I can't believe we're already here, mid-April almost.
That's right. NBA season will be just about over by our next episode.
And that I just keep looking at that standings in the West, man. Has it ever been this? Has it ever been this bunched up?
The seedings in the West change like the Cincinnati weather.
They do.
You're just like, how are they were 8th yesterday? They're out of the playoffs now. They're 3rd. What's going on?
It is insane. Like, you got your top 2 locked in.
OKC and Houston.
Yeah. And then literally from 3 through 8.
Yeah.
Anything is possible.
I was just talking to Chris Wilde about this. I was like, you kind of want to be the 7th seed, right? Like you kind of want Houston. I know there's probably going to be some Houston fan out there who's like, we've been fucking good all year. It's like, you're this year's Kings. You're the Kings from 2 years ago. You're in the 2 seed. Probably not making the second round. Some team that has a ton of experience, which basically the rest of the field, for the most part, has. I think that's the. But then again, 7-8 is determined with a play-in, so you don't really want that also. But when you look at those seeds, like if you're 3 through 6, the 3, 6, 4, 5 matchups, like this is gonna be fucking dogfights, kind of any way they go.
Yeah, it'd be Lakers, Warriors, Nuggets, Clippers. The Nuggets who fired their head coach and GM a week before the season ended. I've never seen anything like it.
It's a very NBA thing. This is not something that has happened, historically in other sports. It seems very NBA. Nick Nurse isn't with the Raptors anymore. Budenholzer's not with the Bucks anymore. Who was it that David Black got the got the Cavs to the finals and was gone. Like, there's these guys that Malone's gone. Like, there's these guys who have success, at the highest level. I mean, he won a championship. This is 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
And you're firing him. Like, I just don't understand. Listen, I'm not saying there's not a better coach out there for the Nuggets than Malone, but I don't think that there's another coach out there for the Nuggets that's better than Malone, that's available right now, that can take over a team that's literally 95% of the way through the season. It just seems very reckless.
Well, that's my question. And by the way, this to me,
you could go like to me, if you're an owner, you get you wanting to fire your coach is justified. If you won that championship 2 years ago, you had a disappointing year last year where you lose in the second round. You come back this year and you lose 4 games in a row down the stretch, and then you go out early again. Then it's like, okay, I'm firing our coach. But just like you're firing your coach right now because you're trying to win a championship, I just don't think.
But why not let it ride?
Yeah. And
that's
you got to change it up. It just seems crazy.
Well, that's the bizarre to me. You're not going to win a championship changing your coach this late in the game. You're just not.
I mean, listen.
You're not.
The Nuggets have the best player in the world.
Fine, you're not going to win a title.
Okay.
I don't care sport. By the way, this crosses all sports, in my opinion.
I think maybe like baseball, least so.
Probably.
But yeah, to me, football, even more so like basketball, like I just don't. It would be one thing if, I'm trying to think of somebody besides Mike D'Antoni, but I'm trying to think of somebody that has like a NBA coaching resume, an extensive one that ended up on somebody's bench. D'Antoni ended up on the Philly bench for a little while. Some of these guys, I mean, Van Gundy, like some of these guys had coaching experience and then were like, oh, I'm going to go here for this, for whatever reason, and be an assistant or be a consultant or be whatever. If that guy was waiting in the wings and you're like, hey, we fired Malone, but like, even I'm not a Jeff Van Gundy fan by any means. And I've been, Jeff Van Gundy is the Knicks fan coaching equivalent of Carmelo Anthony. But if Jeff Van Gundy was sitting on your bench and we're like, we're done with Malone, but like we're going to hand the keys to Jeff Van Gundy for the rest of the season. But you didn't do that. I just don't see how this makes you better. In the short term, I just don't see it.
Well, in my opinion, you're essentially punting on this season this late, and
you fire your GM, which to me is even more the thing. If you believed in your team, if you have a coach that has lost the locker room or for whatever reason, I've been, when I coached high school baseball in New York, everybody hated the head coach. The second to last season I was there, everybody hated the head coach. And I was like, we're all getting fired. Like, we're all getting fired. Like, it is what it is. At the end of the season, we're all getting fired. And they brought me in after the season. They were like, we're firing the coach. And I was like, yeah, I know. Like, hopefully you guys will hopefully I did a halfway decent job and, you'll give me a recommendation somewhere else. So like, we're firing the coach and we're firing his assistant that he hired. We want you to stay. And I was like, oh. And what they basically said to me was, we don't, like, I was pretty young at the time. They were like, we're not going to give you the head coaching job. We're going to give it to this other guy who's in-house, but he doesn't know baseball like you do. You'll essentially be the head coach. And the guy was open about it. He was just like, yeah, cool. Like, I'll make sure the kids don't do whatever, and you handle the baseball. I was like, great. And we did awesome. And those kids knew, they like went in and said, like, we want him to stay. It would be a different situation if there was some assistant coach on the team and the Nuggets were like, hey, we can win a championship. Just get Malone the fuck out of here. This guy who like helps out can fucking do it. But when they fire the coach and then they fire the GM, they're saying, we don't have the team. We don't believe in the coach, and we don't believe the guy who built the team. And to me, it's like, what is the point of doing it now?
Well, that's what I agree. That's what I'm saying. It's when I say punt in the season, you never know what can happen in the playoffs. You never know. So you still have a coach
in the NBA when you have the best player in the world.
Yeah, exactly. So you have the MVP on your team, multiple time MVP, who already won a title with said coach, with said GM. That's what, like, I don't know. I've obviously read some things on it, and apparently there was a lot of issues, especially defensively, how even Jokic felt, how the team had been playing, and obviously they lost 4 in a row. But it's too late. And sometimes you can salvage things. You never know. To me, the real life equivalent is like you get in some bad fights. You've been together with somebody for a while. You get in some fights, and then you just like punt on an entire marriage.
What's amazing is the Nuggets. If you look at the Nuggets, Jokic is a second rounder. Jamal Murray is a 0-time All-Star. Jamal Murray is one of the most underrated players in the NBA. I believe he's a 0-time All-Star that has like multiple like 50-point playoff games. You have Michael Porter Jr. You got a great deal in getting what's his name from the Magic, who's the fucking dunker whose name I'm forgetting. Aaron Gordon,
yeah.
Like they put together a team like and you put together a championship team. I understand they let some people go the last couple of years. That they let some key bench guys go and get signed elsewhere, but that's just going to happen.
Well, the Russell Westbrook, I think that's been kind of the main issue, is that he was playing okay, and now the wheels have kind of fallen off.
Listen, if you're the owner of a team, okay, and your GM signs present day Russell Westbrook, and you want to fire him for that move and that move only, I'm okay with it. But that's months ago. Or just be like, why are we signing Russell fucking Westbrook? I mean, it was a ludicrous signing. No doubt about it. It was ludicrous. It made no sense. But at the same time, like, I just don't know what you're doing at this point. Not to mention, we're only a couple years removed from Russell Westbrook, like, having a shit season and then going off in the playoffs for, like, 4 games. Listen, I don't know why anyone would have signed Russell Westbrook in the last 5 years. But Mike D'Antoni also fucking had a team where he got Carmelo Anthony a second time. So people are insane.
Yeah, I just don't. I'd put all my money on that they don't win it, simply because you're just making this. It's just we're not talking mid-season. We're talking a week before the season ends.
Yeah,
this is uncharted territory,
and that's what you get into the conversation about, which is the only justification for this move is I think this move, doing it right now, gives us a better chance to win the championship. Now, this is the only kind of argument I guess I could see him making is like, hey, we think we have 0% shot to win the championship right now. We think this team has lost its way. So like, we think we put our chances of winning a championship at 0.000%. So no matter what, no matter if we hire Andy Ruther and give him a clipboard, we're not going to get less chances. We could take a fucking wild swing, but I just can't believe that that's your justification when you're firing a coach who's literally already won one for you.
Yeah, that's a crazy thing. Again, it's only a couple years removed. Although, we've seen it. You talked about it. There's not much of a leash with these guys anymore, even if you just won one. Like, there's no leash at all. It's crazy. It's crazy how quickly these guys just get fired. I want to bring up something I've been actually wanting to bring this up. Speaking of coaches. Why is nobody talking about Doc Rivers just, again, being Doc Rivers? We talk about replacing a coach who just won a title in Milwaukee. Doc Rivers, like, what is he doing? That's what I'm saying. Like, how are the Bucks any better with Doc Rivers?
Well, they're not.
That's my point.
There are some people, and listen, Doc's a nice guy. There are some people that just, for some reason, you see it in sports, you see it from players, you see it from coaches, you see it in Hollywood, in actors and comedians, you see it in politics, you see it everywhere. Some guys just continue, like we were talking, you showed me a graphic before the show. Kirk Cousins is the third or fourth highest paid player in NFL history. The man has been fucking dog shit for 3 different franchises who gave him hundreds of millions of dollars. There's no justification for it. There's no justification for Doc Rivers. You know what's so funny? Here's something that's even funnier. When Doc Rivers was coaching the Celtics, Bill Simmons used to shit all over him. Then he got a title, right? And then it's like, oh, like Bill wants to shit on him but can't. Then he goes to the Clippers. He blows all those fucking leads. Bill Simmons returns to shitting on him. Then he gets let go and he's out of the league, and Bill Simmons hires him. And they do a podcast together. Imagine after the Dirty Sports, I go on to host a show where I break down quarterbacks with Russell Wilson.
You should do it. I would totally listen.
Yeah.
He's 64 and 54 since he joined Milwaukee. So like, oh, you're slightly above 500? And of course, we screamed at the top of our lungs, hey, this is not going to work. Fire your coach, whatever. That's obviously a discussion as well at the time. You're going to replace him with Doc?
And then there's also, I think this factors into the Doc Rivers thing specifically. I don't know how it factors into the Mike Malone thing, but players love Doc Rivers. And this is something that, like, will never... I understand across different sports. Like, I almost, if an NBA team like loves their coach, I almost don't trust them at all.
I don't. Well, anything in life, dude. You don't have to. You don't. We're talking about succeeding, being successful. There's people I love who I wouldn't do certain things with, whether that's business or friendship, like whatever it is. And there's also people I'm like, okay, the person's successful, not exactly somebody I socially want to hang out with. There is something to what you're saying.
But I think like baseball is kind of different. It's such a long haul sport. Football, you're kind of this like, you're in football, you're still leading like almost an army. It's 52 guys. You have coordinators. You have whatever. In the NBA rotations go 8, 9 deep. Like you're literally talking about your relationship with 9 multi-millionaire 20-something black guys who, like, obviously there's exceptions and there's a variety of different people, but like if you're like jiving with 24-year-old tens of millionaire guy who's like, what's the most important thing in your life? He's like, what's the most important thing in my life? I'm about to risk my life. I'm literally going to risk my life during COVID. I need to go to a strip club in Atlanta and get these fucking wings I love. You're like, what are you talking about? Like, you're leaving the bubble to go get wings at a strip club in Atlanta? Like, what planet? Like, I would say the majority of NBA guys who get minutes are legit aliens. They don't look like real people. They don't act like real people. Like, Doc Rivers being beloved by every team he's ever, like, where's that ever gotten you? Man, teams love Doc Rivers. Yeah, because he sucks as a coach and he doesn't, like, hold them accountable. And they lose and he's just like, it's all right. In this league, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Sometimes you shit your pants and you need a wheelchair.
Well, that's exactly the point, right? Like, it's about wins and losses, and he hasn't won enough. It's always the joke, right? Like, what does he have on people? Like, does he have blackmail on the entire NBA, the commissioner? These guys just,
I think he's just a nice guy who played in the league, who's been a lot of places, who's been through eras, who's like been around long enough where like guys like LeBron probably think he's great and speak highly of him and whatever. And it's like, well, you know, if you're applying for a job, does having like recommendations from everybody help? Yeah, of course it's going to help. But in the end, if you have recommendations, if you're applying for a job in the business world and they were like, oh my God, you know, Warren Buffett wrote you a recommendation, and, you know, Jeff Bezos wrote you a recommendation, and Bill Gates, Steve Cohen, like, you have all these recommendations. And it's like, why are you leaving your last job? Oh, I bankrupted my firm. Oh. Well, kind of don't care about your recommendations anymore. What the fuck was with the bankrupting of your firm?
Celtics won that title 2008, 17 years ago.
Yeah.
Think about that in context. 17 years ago. They won that title my first full summer in Los Angeles, living in Los Angeles. That's how long ago it was. Like, what were you doing 17 years ago?
I wasn't in Los Angeles yet.
I was in my 20s.
I was sitting in a room getting told that they're firing the head coach of my high school baseball team and that I still have a job.
17 years ago. We're holding on to that. I mean, I know we've talked about it. We talked about Doc Rivers and Dave Roberts, but the Doc Rivers comp is probably more Mike Tomlin at this point. The one title, and I'm sure we've talked about that as well too. Yeah.
I think we've, if we don't already have it, we basically already have like a Doc Rivers, Dave Roberts, Mike Tomlin, 3 Spider-Man pointing at each other memes.
I wonder what's that movie about? Like, what's that superhero movie with those 3? Like, what's the Avengers version?
Yeah.
Of Tomlin, Roberts,
the mediocres.
Oh man, yeah, that makes sense. The mediocres. I want to talk about the Suns for a minute too. They're not going to make the playoffs. we talk about just a few years removed from a tie. Like, again, I know 3 could be a lot in NBA. They're 3 years removed from making the NBA Finals. And the only guy on that team, I believe, is Devin Booker, right? Currently.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's loose ends. I don't know, but
Point is, talk about a debacle of what they did in their salary and giving up draft picks. Basically, I was reading, they're in that terrible spot where they have to like go all in on it. Like they realistically have to trade Devin Booker and just start from scratch. Or they're going to be riding this like, are we going to make the playoffs every year sort of thing for a bit.
Well, what's crazy is like the Kevin Durant deal, when you just missed a championship and whatever, but like so much of that team changed besides Kevin Durant. But I understood going like, we're right there. We have Devin Booker. He's young. Let's get rid of these, let's trade some draft picks and whatever. But the Bradley Beal, that's the Russell Westbrook of the Suns, but for $57 million, like something like the money he's getting. Like I think he has 2 more years on the deal. I think he has 2 more years. That just never made sense ever. Like when we talk in football about like, oh, why would you pay X receiver when you can get literally like receiver X out of Alabama next year, who's going to give you 80% of the production for 20% of the value. We're talking a guy in Bradley Beal who you take the 8th man on every other team in the league, and you're going to get 100% of the production for 6% of the value. Like every single wing that like gets minutes in the NBA can give you what Bradley Beal does, and some of them will give it to you for $5 million, and you're paying him 60.
It's insane.
And it never made sense.
Yeah. Was that just basically the new owner?
Yeah.
Being like, hey, we're going to make a splash.
Cool, you made a splash. You got Devin Booker you have Devin Booker and you paired him with Kevin Durant. Now go and spend all this spend the money that you're giving Bradley Beal on 4 dudes.
Yeah. And just not win anything.
That's why the fucking Thunder are like, not odds-on favorite to win the championship, but right fucking there, because look at what they did.
Well, yeah, I was reading some stuff about that.
They took Shea and draft picks.
Yeah.
To get rid of Paul George. By the way, like another great example in the once were great all-stars super class. Oh my God. You know what's wildly missing from this spring versus last spring? Where's Brandon Ward in my mentions every fucking 3 seconds? Where are the 6 Philadelphia 76ers fans that said they were coming to Gotham Comedy Club last April to fight me? Oh my God. Adding Paul George to the Sixers didn't put you over the hump? Oh my God. What if you get Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook this summer? Maybe that'll do it.
Hilarious.
But like, that's why the fucking Thunder are championship contenders this year and will be championship contenders moving forward. They took Shea and the picks. They use picks on all the guys that fucking make their team. Then they take from my team, they take Hartenstein because they have the money to pay him.
Yeah.
Because they're just sitting around going like, we built young, we built in the draft, we have money. And you're like, how do you guys have money to take a team from a different contender that can't afford him when you're like a better team than they are already? They're like, oh, well, we traded Paul George for a fucking shit ton of draft picks and a 50 times better player. And we built the team properly. And no one convinced us to like get back into the Russell Westbrook game, like a return of Russ to the Thunder.
As you look at these teams across sports and the GMs and decisions, so much of it is just foresight. So much of it is, hey, let's just wait out a couple years of sucking. We can build something with the right picks, with a guy that has potential, a possible ceiling, the ceiling to just break through. It's funny looking back on that because you're like, yeah, Paul George is over Paul George, man. I saw that Shaq has agreed to walk out with Dwight Howard requested Shaq for his Hall of Fame, along with like Kareem and a few others. Looks like they're going to end their beef. We keep talking about Shaq being an old head. Looks like he's agreed to end his beef and walk out with Dwight at the. Are they both going to be dressed as Superman for the Hall of Fame?
A lot of people have seen it. A lot of people have seen the memes. Pointing Spider-Man. Not today. Not today. Today we're doing it a little different. We're doing pointing general memes. We both the general. I'm just kidding. We're both Superman. Ha ha ha. He's Clark Kent. I'm Kal-El. But we both Superman.
Oh man. I guess their final TNT broadcast was yesterday.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because I don't know. I forget. Are they going to Disney? Are they going to ABC, ESPN? I guess the final. The truth is, all the old head shit you got. They kind of lost me this year.
It's been happening it's a slippery slope. You know what the worst part about the old head shit, and we talked about this, and I just read a great quote on it. And I got to say, much to my detriment, this is something I don't do. But we've talked about it before. There's these people who like get success doing something, and then they just go, well, that's my thing now. And I've been told that, oh, why don't you do more of this? Why don't you do more of this? I'm like, I don't care. I'm just like kind of like, I'm all over here. My old manager would fucking yell at me all the time. Your fucking Instagram and your TikToks. It's sports. It's politics. It's comedy. It's blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I'm just talking about what the fuck I want to talk about. Oh, maybe you should pick a lane. I don't want to. That's lame. What's weird is it's very common now for people to like find this lane, get their clicks, and do the thing. No one liked it. The NBA on TNT guys found this lane that either there's basically two types of basketball quote fan. The ones who agree with you, who refuse to watch basketball now, and the ones who disagree with you, who watch basketball and think you guys are embarrassing yourselves. Where's their agents? Hey, stop antagonizing the only people that give you relevancy. You are this close to being known as the guy from the General commercials in 20 years. Corey Bellinger doesn't know who Seinfeld is. Get it together before you become the black guy from the General commercials.
Did you see the I'm gonna pull it up. Speaking of the games, and I knew this would trigger some people, and I didn't. I know. I'm like, I don't have time to respond because I don't care. Did you see the final play of the national championship game in college basketball?
Oh, I did. Let me just say this. No, I didn't see it, but all I know is that so I got multiple messages. The national championship game ended the way you say every college basketball game ends.
You gotta see this. So Ryan Klatt, hockey correspondent, he's setting up. So we're going to let him set up right now. I got to show this clip while Ryan sets up. This is the final play down to Houston. I was like, oh, this is for Prano. I got to put this out on Dirty Sports Twitter. This is the final play of the national championship game.
13 seconds left. Florida leads it by 2. Usain gonna go. Usain, give it up. Cryer, 6 seconds, 5 seconds. Short.
By the way, couldn't he have dribbled again?
I don't think so because he jumped. I've never seen that. Let's watch this again. 14.8 seconds. More than enough time. You're down to.
You get the ball. You have a chance to tie or win the game.
Yeah.
And what is the action here? Forget the play. What is the action?
Well, that's everybody's
No
saying.
one's picking for the
There's
ball.
No spacing.
No one's picking for who play it. So no, they're like these two guys. No. So the one guy at the high post looks like he's gonna go set a pick for the other guy. Doesn't. Then just goes to get the ball on the wing. Puts himself in a trap.
You know what's funny? There were people arguing, saying, this is why I love college basketball. Yeah. And here's my thing. Again, you guys, you can like college basketball.
That's the equivalent of a NASCAR guy sitting around with his friends, and they're all like, bro, did you hear? And he's like, what? He's like, greatest to ever do it. Dale Earnhardt crashing a wall, dead. He's like, that's why I love NASCAR, man. Sometimes people die. That's the best part. It could be Dale. It could be the other Dale. It could be Roddy. You never know. But somebody's going to die, and that's why I watch. Because fucking people die. Was it
the caption I wrote was,
did it flip over? Well, rest in peace. Can't wait for another crash.
I wrote, when someone says college basketball is more enjoyable than the NBA. And the point is, like, this is not an enjoyable ending. And somebody, here's a couple of responses. This is the video you're using, ? You're making people's point that college basketball is better. What? Like, again, my whole point was, it's ridiculous to think that that's what you want to watch. You got to get a shot off, man. It's the end of the game. You got to get a shot off. You got to have a play written up.
Have
something.
Action planned. Have a play plan. Have action plan. Imagine the game on the line. You have one play, and your whole team huddles around you. And the assistant coach goes, do you need the whiteboard? And you go, I'm good. And they go, what? Oh, you're good. Oh, you're good because you're going to tell them to do the play that we've practiced all year. It's like, no, I'm good. These boys got it. And they're looking around like, well, what do we got?
Yeah.
And it's like,
this.
You know what to do. They're like, no, we legit don't know what to do. That's why we're all huddled around you. We're waiting for you to tell us what to do. Well, I don't know. But I know this. There's a car dealer in Houston who's got $14 million in a suitcase that I can spread around to your replacements this summer. All their grandmas, all their grandfathers, getting a lot of money from me. we're going to have a great team next year. They're like, what about this year? We're in the championship game. There's one possession left. He's like, I don't actually coach basketball. And by the way, I've been saying this for how long? This is every college basketball ending.
It's pretty wild.
This is 92% of college basketball endings. Yeah, every once in a while, there's a fucking play.
So,
but you know what's funny? Like the great fucking plays, like the Leitner shot was huck it down the floor to Leitner, hope he catches it and makes a fall away jumper. Like,
I think that one was more written up.
Just the old fucking.
Well, to be fair, that's a tough play. You got to go all the way down the court in that time. I mean, there aren't too many plays you can do for that situation. So Ryan Klatt, we couldn't get him on Monday because he's in school. He can talk to us about it. He's got things happening, but he's leaving. He was doing some educational stuff. You know, who would have known?
Klatt in here. What is this? This is the college basketball coach's intro. He didn't prepare anything. He just starts talking.
He's in an airport. I don't even know what is going on. His computer is gyrating. Can we bring Klatt in here? I don't even know what airport he's at.
What's going on, fellas? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right.
Talk to me, Klatt. Where are we?
Yeah, I'm going full Bill O'Reilly. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Fuck it. I am in the Winnipeg airport, Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Is there a party that's like?
Are there lots of jets in the Winnipeg airport? Let's go.
Do you feel like you're cheating a little?
Are the Winnipeg Jets still a hockey team?
Yes. Yeah, they came back in 2012.
Back from Atlanta. They came back from Atlanta, right?
That's right, Andy. Yeah, the Atlanta Thrashers, came to Winnipeg, and now they brought back the Jets. So good for them, and they're really good this year.
I was gonna, we can talk about. I wanted to ask you though.
The way Klatt's computer is shaking, there's also Thrashers there as well.
Yeah. Well, I was
it's my phone,
Klatt.
Joe, man. Like we're going like really rough today. First time using a phone. I'm right beside a Starbucks. I just tried to like find the quietest corner I could. So hopefully,
I love that Klatt is in Winnipeg doing an impression of every black guy at LAX, just screaming on their FaceTime. Like, oh my God, why are you screaming on your FaceTime?
Why is there an Italian guy?
I didn't know all those guys were calling into podcasts that whole time.
Oh, amazing.
Why is there an Italian guy on that guy's phone telling people to kill themselves?
Well, I was trying to ask you, Klatt, you feel like, I mean, you're using planes, you drive a train, you know, you're a train conductor. You cheating? I feel like you're cheating a little. Like, why can't you take the locomotive around the town? What are we doing?
Yeah, well, the company I work for is a little cheap. They won't do that. But anyways, I was in Winnipeg the last 3 weeks to learn how to be a locomotive engineer. So
3 weeks?
Yeah. So, but I'm rules qualified to drive a train now. So now I just have to do my training back home at my home terminal.
What are you wearing? What are you wearing in class? Are you getting to wear the cool little overalls and the conductor hat in class?
Yeah, I'm thinking of you while I do it.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I fucking aced the test. I got 100 on the test. And so,
there you go.
Look at you.
Not a big deal, but back home now, and now I get to do the real learning. So
you were away from the fam for 3 weeks.
Yeah, well, actually, last week I surprised them. I flew home for just the weekend because my in-laws, they were like, "Hey, we got a bunch of points if you want to use them." So I was like, "Yeah, I'll use them."
That's cool.
Like real surprise or like fake military? Oh, we didn't know Dad was coming
I surprised my kids. My wife she caught on.
All of a sudden, your kid was like throwing out the first pitch at a baseball game. He's like, "Why me?" And then you took off the catcher's mask.
This is sus, isn't it?
Yeah. So I love how we're doing this. By the way, it sounds great. We're making it happen.
Yeah, I know. He's in an airport on his iPhone. He has a better connection than I ever have from my house on Wi-Fi with multiple microphones and a camera and lights.
Yeah. You guys can't hear any background noise, can you? Or
No.
is it not
Good.
that? Okay, we're good for now. Yeah. It
All right,
was,
let's talk
Starbucks.
some hockey,
Yeah.
Clat.
Yeah, can we start with
Alright,
Ovi?
yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
start with Ovi.
Nothing prepared, but yeah, let's dive into it.
Well, that's fine.
Ovi first.
Yeah, like again, as I talked about last episode, I want to know the points record. What is that comparable?
the goals record, Andy.
Sorry, yeah, the goals record.
Goals.
There we go.
When you guys were talking about last week and Joe brought up home runs, goals and home runs, yeah, very comparable. Like a 50 goal season is like, yeah, it's elite, just like a 50 home run season.
Okay.
And a 60 goal season, it's just like it. There's been a few 60 goal seasons recently, but those are usually like once in an every 5 to 10 year kind of deal.
And what's the
And-
most goals in a season?
Wayne Gretzky scored 94 goals. I believe,
Wow.
last season. That's never going to happen again.
Yeah.
Gretzky had 94 one year, and I think he had a couple of 80 goals a year. Mario scored 89, I think, the one year. Brett Hall scored 86 one year. That shit's just not going to happen again. Austin Matthews scored 69 a couple of years ago. That's the most we've seen in like the last, since Mario.
Right.
So,
Damn. Yeah, that's insane.
Now,
Okay,
where does this, like, obviously goals are one part of hockey, much like baseball, home runs are one part of baseball. There was, when Hank Aaron, for example, broke the home run record, I don't think anybody had Hank Aaron as like the best player ever, although there was arguments for that. Like there were some outlier arguments for that because of, his RBI and other shit like that. But like, where is Ovi in terms of like the pantheon of hockey greats?
well, I think setting this goal record, I think he's kind of firmly established himself as being, like, in my opinion anyway, in the top 5. I don't think many people would have him as the greatest. Like, to me, like, Crosby's a better player than Ovechkin. I'll use the old Joe Prano example. Like, if you're starting Team X with roster X, who would you want? I want Crosby over Ovechkin. You could throw anybody with Crosby. He's going to make them better. He's not bad at anything. He's elite shot, elite vision. Responsive in his own zone. Whereas Ovechkin, he's taken some heat before for his defensive play. He can crush people. He hits a lot, but he can get a little lazy in his defensive zone. But obviously, he's the best goal scorer of all time. So that's worth a ton. 3 MVPs. So in my opinion, I think it's really tough to like who would be out of the top 5 if Ovechkin's in. Like, then you're thinking, oh, like you're booting out like Gordie Howe or Jaromir Jagr or Nick Lidstrom, but he's in that conversation. Not the greatest though.
So you're like, give me your 5, or like, I mean, well, is Gretzky in your top 5?
Gretzky's one for me, like regardless of the era he played in. I know goaltending was shit when he played, but his points are so fucking ridiculous that it's like, yeah, he's the GOAT. More assists than anyone has points. So yeah, crazy.
And Jagr, is Jagr ahead of Lemieux for most people because he played longer? No,
not to me. Lemieux is number 2 to me, and then at 3, I might have Crosby at 3. Just the era that he played in, he's the greatest player like of the post lockout like modern era. So just good, such a great all around player. Like he's like the LeBron James of hockey. Just no weaknesses.
Yeah.
So good at every aspect of the game. And then you'll hear a lot of old heads talk about like Bobby Orr. Like Bobby Orr had a very short career, but he changed the D-man position forever. And then,
now I've heard a lot of talk through my years, because I don't follow hockey that much, but just like I'm old, so I take in things. But Gordie Howe feels like a lot of people are like, he played a long time, but that wasn't as productive if you look at him on a season by season basis.
Like he was always like a point per game or better, but he didn't have any mind blowing years like Gretzky.
Yeah.
But shout out,
now what about
Sasky boy of all time, greatest Sasky resident of all time, Gordie Howe. But
what about my boy Messier? He's pretty high on that goals list.
Messier would probably be top 15, I would say, ish, that range. Yep. I mean, yeah. He was number 2 in points for a while until Yager passed him. So I think he's 3 right now. But yeah, he's way up there for sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And now
So
let me ask you something. How about Connor McDavid? Do people eyeball him as somebody who's going to leap into that group at some point?
Oh, he's gonna be top 5 to top 3 when all is said and done. Now, like his legacy is still like
Being
incomplete.
written.
It's still being written. He's in his 9th or 10th. Is it 10 years already? Holy shit! I think it's his 10th season already. That's crazy. Feels like he just got into the league, but yeah, he'll be. He's the best talent I've ever seen. Let's just put it that way. He's the most talented player I've ever seen. So it's just a matter of him, keeping up his pace, hopefully winning a cup.
Is the current McDavid Matthews, is that a good comparison to sort of Crosby Ovi? Like one's more of a complete player, one's a goal scorer?
In terms of what you just said, yeah, I thought you were gonna say as like the best player, second best player. If you're looking at who's the best and who's the second best in the league, it's like Nathan McKinnon's the second best player in the league right now. He's insane too. But Matthews is the best goal scorer in the league right now. So yeah, McDavid kind of the more complete player like Crosby, and Matthews is like Ovechkin. And Matthews is if Matthews keeps up his current pace, he'll break Ovechkin's record but he has to stay healthy.
For a
That's
long
something
time.
that's something Ovechkin's been able to do his whole career, despite putting his body through a lot with all the hits that he delivers. He's been able to stay healthy.
So where are we at? Or is this? It's a very similar timeline, right, with the NBA? Like, are we near playoffs?
We're wrapping up. Yeah, every team's got about four-ish games left, 4 or 5. So a, a couple weeks ago, it was looking like the playoff race was going to be like cinema, like it was going to be great. And then all the teams on the outside looking in just fucking shit the bed the last 2 weeks. So the playoff picture is basically set right now. Joe's Rangers being one of those teams that really shit the bed this year. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know
talk to
what
me
that.
about my Rangers. I don't follow it at all, but last year it seemed like they were ahead of schedule, all of a sudden sort of better than people were counting on them to get good because they were young and they had these drafts and whatever. And then it seemed like that happened faster than people thought it would. And now there's a regression year, or is it bigger than that?
I think it's just a regression year. This team is way better than their record, especially with their goaltender. Like Shesterkin can make them a contender every single year. I don't have any answers to what fucking happened to the Rangers this year. They had to overhaul. They made some big trades this year. Actually, they shipped out their captain, Jacob Trouba. They shipped out one of their high draft picks to Seattle. I think they did make their team better throughout the season, but they just couldn't figure it out. So, yeah, that's one of the teams that just fucking couldn't get anything going down the stretch.
So we're not going to have a playoff push that's super exciting, but what are we looking forward to in the playoffs? What are some playoff storylines?
Well, I got to talk about my Leafs. Could this be the year? Like every single year, is this the year they're gonna get it done? I think they're gonna win their division, which is awesome. We've got Ottawa Senators are back in the playoffs after being out for like 7 years. The Habs look like they're gonna make it after. See you later, Chris. They're one of my buddies from class. Um,
Bring
so
Chris on. What's Chris doing? Bring him on. What's Chris doing?
he's walking away.
Okay.
We don't need Chris on here. Come on.
All right, good. Continue.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So seeing the Senators and Habs back in the mix, that'll be really fun. We got a lot of Canadian teams this year, and the Jets. The city that I'm in right now. The Jets have, I believe, the best record in the whole NHL. Kind of like quietly, like. It's always been looking like it's going to be the Leafs or the Oilers to break Canada's big drought here, but the Jets very quietly might be the team to finally end Canada's drought. So I think they're a big storyline. How can they finally go deep in the playoffs? Because they haven't been going very far in recent years, despite good seasons.
Sounds like there's a good. I mean, you listed at least, I would say, 5 or 6 Canadian teams that are going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
This has got to be your best shot of breaking that curse, just numbers wise.
Yeah, like unfortunately, it's looking like Toronto's going to play Ottawa, so that's one of those two teams will be out right away. But yeah, we've got 5 out of 7, I believe, are going to be in the mix, and you got McDavid's Oilers, kind of a bit of a down year, like if you compare it to last year for them, but I mean, as long as they have him and Draisaitl, they're obviously a contender. But there's a lot of good teams in the West. Dallas is really good. Colorado is really good. Vegas is really good. So Edmonton has a very, very tough path.
You've, in your years on the show, we've learned from you that a hot goalie is everything. Do we have any like hot goalies that we think we can ride, or?
Well, the Jets goalie, actually, Connor Hellebuck, he's about to win his 3rd Vezina. So that's putting you into like Hall of Fame.
Is there what?
His Vezina trophy.
Vezina, yeah.
Sounds like something they would give out in Star Wars. Did you get the Vezina?
Yeah.
Or a planet?
Named after George Vezina, who is an old-time Canadiens goalie back in like the 20s. So it goes to the goaltender of the year.
By the way, okay. Side note: hot goalies. That'd make a great calendar in like an old mall in like the 90s, like the hot firemen. Like,
well, isn't there?
I need a hot goalies calendar.
Klatt would know this, but like there is some influencer chick who's a hot goalie, right?
Oh, there was one a few years ago.
If there is,
I don't know. There's some like hot blonde chick, and you're like, why is this chick like? She's like hot, but she's like not that hot. And then you're like, oh, she's hot, like what? And they're like, yeah, she's a hot goalie. And you're like, oh, okay.
I think I saw that. I think I shared it with Smith. He probably loved that.
There's one with.
I think I know what you're talking about.
There's one with 3.2 million Instagram hockey goalie Canadian Michaela Dameter. I don't know how it's pronounced, but yeah, she's not showing much. She's not wearing too much here. It's where's the hockey out? Oh, we got to a hockey outfit. Okay. Anyway, you guys do your talking. I'm gonna take off. No,
I'm gonna Vezina over here.
So continue what you were saying about the hot goalies.
Yeah. Like I was saying, Hellebuck is the best goalie in the league, so he's really what could send the Jets on a deep run. But his last 2 playoff appearances has been really bad, so he's kind of got to shake a bit of some playoff yips. But
now it's interesting you say that, because you said did you say this would be his 3rd straight award, or just his 3rd overall?
His 3rd overall, his 2nd straight though. He won it last year, so it would be his back-to-back and 3rd overall. So you're putting yourself in some really elite company, winning 3 Vezinas. So
we talk about it in a lot of sports, but specifically in football, where with quarterbacks, where it's like you can look pretty good against like the dog shit teams, but then when you only have to face playoff teams, some of these guys come completely unraveled. Doesn't feel like that would be something in hockey with goalies, but is there this guy is a brick wall against like the day-to-day, but like then you get into the playoff time, or is this just like playoff outlier failures?
In terms of goalies specifically, yeah, maybe Hellebuck. I mean, last year he went up against Colorado and they just peppered him. And it's like, if you're facing those guys in a 7-game series, it's going to be a lot tougher, because Winnipeg's division, they've got some really bad teams. And your speech there about regular season hockey, you're playing bad teams and you're looking good. I mean, that's the story of my Leafs every year. They look fantastic every year in the regular season. They can dance around everyone, but when playoffs come around, you're playing a good team every night, and everyone's just more willing to sacrifice their body. More people are willing to block shots. There's less time and space. That's when my Leafs just fucking, they shrivel. So, they added some pieces though, and I'm hoping they can finally smarten up. But until it happens, I'm just going to remain very cautiously optimistic.
Where are your Leafs in the standings? Like, where are you guys finishing here?
So they're first in their division. I think I've explained divisions before. There's two in each conference. So they're first in their division. I think they've got like a 3-point cushion. So as long as they can win, a couple of their last 4 games here, they should hang on, and they'll get one of the 2 wildcard teams. Washington has the best record in the East, and they've locked that up. So they're going to play the worst wildcard team in the East, which is looking like it's going to be Montreal. So it's likely going to be Toronto versus Ottawa, Battle of Ontario, which that one happened a lot in the early 2000s. So that's a good nostalgia trip for me. The Leafs and Senators played each other like 3 times in like 5 years, and the Leafs won every time. So some good childhood memories there, and hopefully that happens again.
If a Canadian team wins, will they be visiting the White House?
That's a good question. Will Trump want that?
or will they will they do they get DC? Like if a Canadian team wins, like you guys get to annex Washington DC. That could be in play, could it not?
It could be, especially
you probably don't want DC though, do you?
I mean, if it's there, didn't Canada burn down the White House in the War of 1812? I'm not a a big history guy, but
yeah, well, that was technically they didn't. That was the British. Which is that technically you guys?
Well, it was before Canada was a country, right? Because we became a country in 1867. But
you guys didn't become a country till 1867.
That's correct. Yeah.
After the American Civil War.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 1860. I'm not a history buff. Like this isn't the Dirty History podcast, but I'm pretty sure.
I'm like, Canada's officially a country, like today. Like this, you guys. I thought you guys were just like the Great White North. I thought we just called it Canada.
Hey,
I want a Canadian team to win, and then when Trump's like, we'll have them, but half of them have to stay home because I'm tariffing them 50%.
Yeah, there'll be tariffs in place. They'll have to,
we can't import all of the Ottawa Senators, but we can have 48%.
That's right.
So, if you had to,
I don't know if you know this about me. I hate senators, especially ones from Ottawa, also California. All senators.
Give me your 3 teams. You can pick 3. Your 3 favorites to win it all.
3 versus the field.
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay. I want to say Dallas and Colorado, but they're probably going to play each other in the first round.
Okay.
So that's a tricky one. One of those 2. The East, Florida.
I love that he already has 4 teams. He already upped it to 4. He's like those 2.
Dallas, Colorado, Florida, right?
Okay.
That's 3. Yeah, those ones. But like I said, Dallas and Colorado probably playing each other in the first round because of this fucked up playoff format. So that's unfortunate.
Who is the Vegas favorite to win the title?
Well, I don't have that in front of me. I'm afraid to check on my phone because
Andy's got it.
It might.
Yeah.
We need Trevor. Trevor, can you pull that up? Pull up the Kentucky Derby favorite.
All right, here's the favorites right now for Stanley Cup winner. Dallas Stars plus 650, Florida Panthers plus 700, Colorado plus 800, Edmonton.
Oh, look at that! The 3 teams I named.
Yeah.
At the top.
Edmonton, Carolina, and Vegas all plus 900. So that kind of rounds those out.
Okay, so Dallas is the favorite then?
Dallas is the current favorite, barely over Florida.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, Florida, if Tkachuk can get healthy, he's been injured since that 4 Nations tournament. But assuming he's healthy, they added Brad Marchand from Boston. So Florida's a problem. They're a big problem.
They're a wagon.
They won last year?
They're a wagon. They did win last year, Andy. You're learning stuff.
What? Who are the top players on Dallas?
So Dallas has Jason Robertson, Miro Heiskanen.
Who?
I'm just trying to figure out who's getting randomly traded to the Kings in the offseason so that the Dallas fans can hang themselves.
They just got another fun Finnish name for you. They just got Mikko Rantanen. He had like a contract dispute with the Avalanche. He was like one of the best players in the league for the last while, and then there was a blockbuster midseason trade to Carolina. And then Carolina's trying to like negotiate with him to get him to stay, and he's like, "No, I'm not staying." So now Carolina's like, "Well, fuck. Now we got to trade you." So then they shipped him off to Dallas, and then he signed an 8-year deal with them. So now, formerly one of the best players on Colorado's team, the team that won the Cup a few years ago, is now playing with Dallas
in the first round, likely against Colorado.
Likely in the first round. So there's a nice little storyline for you. That series is going to be a doozy. It's really a tragedy that those two teams are playing against each other in the first round, just because they're the 2 seed and the 3 seed in their division. So that's the way it works. So if you have two really good teams in the division, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. And
by the way, I'm convinced. I think I think Klatt is flying. He's flying private. There's no one at this airport. My man, you got your own private jet.
He's back in a little corner, Andy. Find yourself a quiet corner.
Yeah, I'm just tucked away by, like I said, up by a Starbucks.
Well, the thing about Canadians is they're so damn polite. It's like nobody's going to be like, "Hey, get off your phone."
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well,
like, sorry, you podcasting. Sorry.
I needed to make sure to get in a quiet corner to, keep the stories down.
I also love that he's in one of the biggest cities in Canada's airport, and he just like walks by a guy from class. That's Canadian for you. He's like, "Oh, my neighbor's here." Hey.
Yeah,
I feel like anytime I run into somebody in the airport, I'm like, "Wow, small world." I feel like Canadians run into somebody they know in every airport they've ever been in. Like, "Oh, look,
exactly.
The neighborhood's here. You guys going to the hockey tournament?"
Yeah.
I'm going to.
I think we've covered most of it, right, Prano? Did you have any other questions?
Right on.
Klatt, we made it work.
Klatt, thanks for taking the time, especially while you were traveling to call in. I love hockey updates, especially come playoff time. So we'll have to get you in a couple times during this tournament.
Yeah, me
for
too.
Sure. I'm glad I thought this might be a disaster. I thought this was going to be like fucking Sean from Sideshow Network trying to play a phone call.
Great callback, Sean from.
Yeah, he couldn't play a dirt ball call. Surely he just had to press a button. He couldn't fucking do it.
Okay, it's funny you brought Sean up, dude. I don't know how he popped up on my Facebook feed. And
oh, really?
I clicked on him, and I always laughed that like his title was listed as like audio engineer. Like, bro, you couldn't even play like you said, a dirt ball call. Audio engineer?
Speaking of fun Facebook things, so I almost never go on Facebook. And I'm on Facebook today, and I get a friend suggestion, and they suggest you a friend. Mm-hmm. And I kind of recognize the face, but I don't. And it says Daniel Lewis. And I'm like, who the fuck is Daniel Lewis? 2 mutual friends. I click on it, and then I'm like, that's Daniel Day Lewis. Why is Daniel Day Lewis being suggested to me?
3-time Oscars winner,
Daniel Lewis. Look at this.
He just randomly has Facebook.
Yeah, I guess. Actor at Hollywood. And I
guess that's not him. There's
I don't know if
I don't think so.
I don't know if it is, but like also the mutual friend is Brad Garrett. So then like maybe? I don't know.
Daniel Lewis. That reminds me of that bit where the guy's like Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein, the financer.
Well, Ryan, we're glad you can make it work, and safe travels home, and we're going to bring you back on during the playoffs, all right?
For sure, yeah, thanks, and happy Masters weekend, everybody. My favorite weekend of the year. So,
who you got in that?
I picked Auberg to win, Ludwig Auberg. I hope Rory wins. I'm a big Rory fan, but I have Auberg to win.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks, Klatt.
All right.
Talk soon.
All right,
bud.
talk to you boys later.
See
All
you,
right,
Clatter.
take care, man.
Ryan Clack, great dude.
Yeah, great dude. Well, that might have been the most chill airport I've ever seen, like ever.
Yeah. And what lighting? I'm gonna start doing this from fucking Santa Barbara Airport.
No, you gotta go to Winnipeg, bro.
Yeah.
Santa Barbara. I mean, the lighting was impeccable.
Yeah. So many windows.
Really were. I forgot the Masters was this weekend.
Yeah. You gonna watch?
Eh,
Okay. Good.
well, I would never watch. It's just golf on TV. Oh my God.
Yeah. Golf on TV puts me to sleep.
Bro.
I'll likely not watch very much at all. I'm leaving today. I guess technically the tournament started yesterday? It's probably right. Yeah. That tracks. So I probably won't watch much. I'm leaving in a couple hours for a drive up to San Luis Obispo to do a show tonight. And then from there, tomorrow morning, we're headed up to Sacktown for some Mets at Athletics. Just Athletics. Mets at Athletics games at the stadium in Sacramento. But the guys, I'm going with the McDuff's crew. And Ian from McDuff's is a big golfer, Scotsman, the home of golf, the birthplace of golf. So I'm sure it'll be on in the background. He'll probably likely be checking in. But other than that, I think it was just me. No, 0% chance I would check in. But didn't want to keep Klatt any longer than we had already kept him. But I'm definitely not rooting for Rory. That guy's a fucking dork.
Yeah, total dork. Well, we actually had a call. I forgot to load it. A dirt ball heading up to Sacktown as well.
Oh, nice.
I assume you guys will be partaking in some Miller Lite beverages while you're watching some ball games.
Andy, I can't wait. I don't know if the ballpark up there in Sacramento sells Miller Lite. If they don't, I guess I'll have to smuggle some in, because first live baseball games of the year. We don't have that Ohio weather. We got that California spring, 70-something degrees in Sacramento, a little inland. It's going to be hot, I imagine, at the games. I'm packing some shorts, packing a couple Mets jerseys. Might even pack a Mets Hawaiian shirt that I have. And I am going to kick my feet up, watch some baseball, and drink a Miller Lite. It's almost like, we talk about how Christmas Day is the unofficial start of NBA season. In a way, the first Miller Lite I have at a sunny day baseball game is really the unofficial start to my year. It's like the year doesn't really, I'm really just kind of like January, February, March. It's all sort of preseason for me. Really, my year starts when I can crack that first Miller Lite in the sun, the sweet, sweet sounds of baseball in the background, the sweet, sweet taste of that Golden Pilsner, the original light beer, going down my gullet. I'm as excited as I've been for anything in a very long time.
Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/dirty sports to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. So, Major League Baseball at a minor league park. That'll be a fun experience. Regular season.
It's a pretty new minor league park. Supposedly it's pretty nice and it's pretty big for as far as minor league ballparks go. The A's have been meh so far. So sounds like ticket prices have been coming down, but at the same time, it's a hot ticket. They sold out the whole season in advance. So yeah, really, really looking forward to it. I think it'll be a cool experience. Also, just, I don't think it'll count as me checking a ballpark off the list, but it's like it adds to the places I've seen the Mets play professional baseball, which would probably be a cool list as well. With me having seen them at a lot of stadiums that are no longer active.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm excited to it's back-to-back day games. They start tonight. I won't be there tonight, but Saturday, Sunday, both day games. And then I'll be able to hang out in Sacramento on Saturday night and in Sacramento on Sunday night, which would be super fun. It's sort of an up and coming town. I was told it was really up and coming and sort of got sidetracked by, all of the pandemic years or whatever, but that they're back. I've spent very little time in Sacramento over the years, and I'm excited to go hang with the McDuff's crew, which are those guys are always a good time. So yeah, it really does feel like spring has sprung.
Say hi to the strip club I was at probably 15 years ago.
In Sacramento?
Forget the name of it, yeah.
I don't know that I will, but it's possible. It's possible. I would say it's not a 0% chance. I will be with the McDuff's crew, so it's not a 0% chance. And it's Ian's birthday yesterday. He also didn't make the bachelor party, so maybe we have some strip club in us.
Well, you're gonna have to report back because I want to hear the energy and the vibe of the stadium.
Yeah.
Again, with it being very unique that it's a major league game at a minor league stadium. I didn't realize they were just the Athletics, and I guess that makes sense. I wonder how that works legally and trademark and all that stuff.
I'm sure that they still own the Oakland Athletics trademark, and I'm sure they already own the Vegas Athletics trademark. Yeah. I mean, obviously you can call yourself, like, if you were a, high school team or something like that, you couldn't be the Venice Oakland Athletics, but I'm sure you could be the Venice Athletics still. So I don't think they can trademark that. And obviously they're not super strict about the trademarks of just like likeness, because the gaze is just an upside down A's hat, and that's trademark infringement for sure.
Well, let's go through here a few rapid fire NFL stories. You alluded to this. I just want to put the graphic on the screen. We talked about it earlier. The top 5 most paid quarterbacks career earnings. It is amazing. Matthew Stafford is now number 1 with over 391 million. Aaron Rodgers 2, over 380 million. Tom Brady 3, 332 million. Kirk Cousins 4 at 321. Russell Wilson 5 at 315. Point that I'm making is that all 5 of these quarterbacks, minus Kirk Cousins, have at least won a single Super Bowl, and Kirk Cousins has only won a single playoff game. It is insane.
Yeah, actually, what's more insane is that the droves of people through the years that told me he was great. Kirk Cousins not being good and teams paying him is just, okay. What I never understood is all the people that were like, you fucking hater, Kirk this, Kirk, it's not Kirk's fault. Blah. Everybody realizes it's his fault the second he's gone. I'm sure Atlanta fans fucking hate him at this point.
I think teams have figured it out, though. I don't know if you saw this today, but there was huge speculation that the Browns might sign him. They signed Joe Flacco instead at $4 million. Right. So like, to me, that shows teams are not going to overpay. And who knows? Maybe he ends up on the Browns because the Browns are idiots and they'll do Brown things. But they're basically saying, hey, we'll let Kenny Pickett and.
But isn't Kirk Cousins on the Falcons?
He is, but there was rumors that there might be a trade involved.
But no one's trading for. That's the thing. Like, at this point, I don't know. Like, I'll tell you one thing: it would be dumb for the Browns to sign Kirk Cousins for $4 million. But no one's taking Kirk Cousins for the money he's making.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there's always the outside chance that the Phoenix Suns take him, but no one other than that.
I feel like they're punting. I feel like these teams are already punting on these QBs, Prano. Think about it. Your Giants. I mean, obviously it's not a good situation, but you got it doesn't seem like they're going for a top pick. The Browns are going to let Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco do it. Again, it doesn't mean that they still can't draft a QB, but I feel like I don't know. I feel like maybe Cam Ward can get but I just feel I don't know.
Cam Ward's going to the Titans.
Okay.
I think.
But I'm saying after that, it's kind of like teams are like, I don't feel.
Yeah, where Shedeur Sanders ends up is going to be interesting.
They said he could even drop like an Aaron Rodgers type situation into the late 20s. Maybe teams have finally figured out, hey, if you draft the wrong QB, you just set your team back 5 fucking years.
Yeah.
I mean, the Browns have already set themselves back with Deshaun. I'm never going to play an NFL down again. Watson.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Tim Couch and the 14 other guys they drafted. That's like it's hard to say. It's hard to say like which setback year they're in at this point. Like, have they even gotten to the Deshaun Watson setback years, or are they still being set back by fucking Derek Anderson?
Who was the old QB they drafted?
The old QB?
Not Wanky. There was 2 different old QBs that were drafted in the last 30 years.
Yeah.
Who's the other guy?
Brandon Weeden.
Didn't you get trapped under the American flag in one of those
Yeah. in a VA hall?
I still love
the best part about Chris Winkie and Brandon Weeden getting drafted is they were both bald. How about just draft the old guy that doesn't look old? Why are you drafting the already fucking clearly old guy?
Oh my God. Yeah, the Browns have really, all things considered, Baker Mayfield is the best guy they've ever drafted.
Yeah.
In our lifetime at QB, it's not even close. That's kind of wild if you think about it.
Andy, what's great about that is I have an amazing clip. You ready for this? I'm going to play it right now. It's about Colin Cowherd saying he'll never be Johnny Football. So here we go. This is Colin Cowherd when they drafted Baker Mayfield saying he'll never achieve what Johnny Football achieved.
What are we talking about?
What are you talking about here? You already did this. You had a Heisman winner. You couldn't get it done. Now you're going to get Baker Mayfield.
Oh, man. I saw Tyreek Hill had another arrest, or the cops were called. He's a lunatic. And then I started thinking, I started looking. I was like, speaking of trades, the Dolphins have never won a single playoff game since they got him.
Yeah.
The Chiefs have won, I believe, 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Been to 3 since they traded him away from him. Then you look at the Dolphins, to jump more into it, it's like, oh, he's got great numbers. He was hurt this year, but great numbers with the Dolphins. And I'm like, yeah, but they're not winning anything. And you need someone like him to make Tua look feasible.
Yeah.
Decent. It's I don't know. It's just amazing, again, to see some of these moves that these teams make. And you're like, okay, so where are the Dolphins? Are they going to cut him? Are they going to trade him? He's obviously got a lot of off the field baggage, which I don't think necessarily matters to most teams, but it's just interesting the moves that these squads make. And then you see, if you have a QB, it doesn't really matter. Or if you don't have one, it doesn't matter because you're not winning anything. All these teams. I feel like if you're going to buy stock right now, buy into the Chiefs. I'm seeing a lot of articles, a lot of analysis. It's
about them
taking a drop back.
Oh, that this is you're saying you're seeing a lot of articles saying that they're kind of done.
Yes, why I'm saying buy stock in the Chiefs.
Yeah,
when they're and I saw an article. Everybody's like, "Oh, look at this division now. Look at and it is. It's you literally have Hall of Fame coaches. You have Harbaugh, Carroll, obviously, Sean Payton, and it's like, look at how competitive this division is going to be now. You better watch out, Chiefs. I'm like, they're still the Raiders, even though Carroll's coaching. They're still the Raiders.
Yeah, Raiders gonna Raiders.
Still
Sean
the
Payton's
Chargers.
overrated.
They're still the Chargers.
Yeah.
I mean, we're obviously both hardball guys, but it's like you're still the Chargers.
Still the Chargers. You don't have a home field advantage.
None.
The Raiders are gonna Raiders. Sean Payton's one of the most overrated coaches in history. Listen, I'm not taking anything away from the Eagles. Props to the Eagles because they did it the same as that NFC Championship game. They knocked Brock Purdy out. Then they knocked whoever it was, Darnold or whoever was backing up out. Next thing you know, it was Josh Johnson. So like props to them. I'm convinced 5 minutes. I think it was 5:23 left to go in the first. I think Mahomes got concussed. I think he was concussed in the Super Bowl. I think he played the Super Bowl with a concussion. Now, props to them. They still had to concuss him, but I think he was concussed. I think the Chiefs looked a lot worse than the Chiefs are.
You trolling, right?
No.
You think he was concussed?
Uh-huh.
Like for real. You're being straight up.
Being straight up. I can show you the play. I think this is where he was concussed. It's the one where he like got away from everybody.
Yeah, I know.
He goes down. Because here's the thing about Mahomes. The Mahomes thing is, like, again, taking nothing away from the Eagles. They played great in that game. They played great defense or whatever. He just made some throws that, I mean, the guy's been in pressure in his career. Some of those throws, you're like, what were you looking? Like, it was almost like, how did you not see that guy there?
Yeah.
I think Patrick Mahomes is so good that he played so bad that I was like, what is behind that?
But he's another guy, I'm saying, with the stocks low, buy now.
But Andy, this is my point. My point is buying low, or like my point is counting the Chiefs out because like the Eagles figuring them out. I'm like, okay, I'm buying because I think the dude was concussed.
I mean, he could have been. You know, my counter would be when everybody again is talking about the Chiefs, I would just say, look, who's their competitors in the AFC?
The Bills.
For sure. Who they've dominated in the playoffs.
Yeah.
The Ravens. They've dominated them. We had hopes for the Chargers. Not Harbaugh. Herbert laid an egg, complete egg. The Bengals used to have firepower with them. The Bengals literally don't have a defense. Which, by the way, Justin is just like all in now on the receiver. He told me, text. He's all in.
Well, it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. He's come full circle. It's fun.
Listen, being all in on their, like, no one's arguing that those guys aren't good.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, like, yeah, like, I'm not even a Bengals fan. Like, I'm all in on their receivers. But, like, okay.
Oh, man.
I'm all in on the receivers, and other offenses are all in on the Bengals defense. Like, they're all in. The running backs are in, the receivers are in, quarterbacks are in, fullback will probably get a couple flats, tight ends are in. They might even do some, offensive linemen eligibles are in.
I do find this draft more appealing since there is so many question marks at QB. Like, I find it more interesting, actually, versus the guys who are, the locks. I'm like, okay, this is kind of interesting now.
Yeah.
How teams are going to play it. Where is it this year? Is it in Green Bay?
Did you just pull that out of nowhere? I'm just going to assume it's in Green Bay because you just said that. That seems like a weird place for them to put it and for you to even think of that if that's not where it is. So I'm going to say, yeah, you're right. It's in Green Bay.
Yeah, it's in Green Bay. Come on, Prano. I'm just making this stuff.
No, I just said you're not making it up. Very, very vehemently said the opposite. No, I didn't know that, but
like, how often do they pick in advance? I don't think they have next year's. Do they? Make that shit in Winnipeg.
And then that's when? Thursday?
2 weeks from yesterday.
Okay.
So say put that shit in the Winnipeg airport, man. That's nice.
Yeah. This is nice.
Okay. Serious question, and then we'll wrap this up. Would you rather attend a WWE event or the NFL draft? That's a tough one.
Oh,
it'd be WWE for me in a heartbeat.
Probably, because it's more of less like, oh, I don't care about this at all, but like, look at these fucking people.
That's what I'm saying. People watching.
I've been to a WWE event. It was ludicrous. Like he was like giving people the finger on their way out and shit, and like screaming. I was like, who are these people? Dude, I saw The Rock when The Rock was like relatively new. And I think I've talked about this on the show before. So I was at Lehigh. Mikey was still in high school. Mikey's like, yo, they're doing a WWE event at Lehigh. I'm coming. We're getting tickets. I was like, I don't want to go. He's like, you're going. And then I remember he bought a Rock t-shirt there, a t-shirt for The Rock. He was super into The Rock. The Rock was like way new. And The Rock gets up in the thing, and he had the whole microphone thing. He's like, The Rock has come back to Bethlehem. And I was like, has The Rock been here before? And that's when I realized The Rock is from Bethlehem. The Rock went to fucking Liberty High School in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And I was like, what are the chances of that? Like, The Rock is one of the biggest stars in the world. And the first time I ever saw or heard from The Rock, he was like, I'm where I went to high school. And I was like, this is fucking weird. I was like, this guy went to high school here?
That is insane.
Yeah.
And little did you know.
Yeah.
He would be starring in every movie with Kevin Hart from 2020 for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Little did I know that the miniature black child that was 3 seats over from me would one day be his co-star in every movie. Rock, sign my t-shirt.
Give us a shout, guys. We got a hotline, 310-359-8365.
You can come see me do some stand-up comedy. JoePrano.com/shows. Got a show coming up here in Venice. I'll be up in San Luis Obispo, or actually Pismo Beach tonight for a show, Don't Tell Comedy. May 2nd, Athens Comedy Festival, Athens, Georgia, Morton Theater. Saturday, May 3rd, Don't Tell Comedy in Atlanta. Come check those out. Come see a show. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me all those places at Joe Prano.
All right, guys. That's the show. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Shout out to Ryan Klatt. Thanks for doing it again, bud. We will be back on Monday. Have a great weekend. And as always, stay dirty.